The for of statement in JavaScript is used to create a loop that iterates over iterable objects. These objects include arrays, strings, maps, sets, and other built-in iterables. The basic syntax of the for of loop involves the for keyword followed by a constant element, the of keyword, and the iterable object. Inside the loop, you can access each element of the iterable object. For example, if you have an array of colors like red, green, and blue, the loop will iterate over each color, and you can perform operations on each color within the loop. When using for of with arrays, it provides direct access to the array elements without the need to use indices. This approach works with any array-like object that implements the iterable protocol. The for of loop also handles sparse arrays safely, automatically skipping empty slots. You can use break and continue statements within the loop for controlling the flow. For example, if we have an array of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we can iterate through the array using for of. Inside the loop, we can check if number is greater than 3. If it is, we can break out of the loop, thus preventing the addition of any further numbers. Another example with a sparse array. When we iterate through it, it will skip the empty slots in log 1, 3, and 4. The for of loop is particularly useful for iterating over strings, as it properly handles Unicode characters and emojis, iterating over complete characters instead of just UTF-16 code units. It is generally considered safer than accessing characters using bracket notation. It's perfect for various text processing tasks, such as character counting and other Unicode-aware operations. For example, if you have a string such as hello followed by a waving hand emoji and then world, the loop will iterate over each character and the emoji correctly. You can also use this for character counting, where you iterate through string Mississippi, add each character to set, and after the loop, the size of the set will give the number of unique characters. The for of loop can also be used for iterating over maps and sets. When iterating over a map, it provides access to each key value pair as an array. You can iterate through this array to access the key and value separately. Alternatively, you can iterate through the keys of the map. Maps maintain the insertion order during iteration. Sets, on the other hand, allows simple iteration through each item in set. Sets automatically handle duplicate values and can be easily converted to array while filtering. For example, with a map of users with their role, you can iterate over the map and log the username and their role. If you have a set of tags, you can loop through them and convert them into an array. You can then apply filter to the array. To make a custom object iterable, you need to implement the symbol.iterator method. This method should return an iterator object that has a next method. The next method should return an object with two properties: the value property, which is the current value of the iteration, and a done property, which is a Boolean value indicating completion of iteration. This enables your custom objects to work seamlessly with for of loops and the spread operator. For example, we have a class called range which takes in start and end value. The iterator method returns an object with the next method. The next method returns current value if current is less than equal to end, or it returns done as true. Now we can iterate over range object using for of loop, which logs numbers from 1 to 3. When considering the performance of the for of loop, it's important to know that it is slightly slower than the traditional for loop, but it is faster than the forEach method when you need to break the loop early. There is additional overhead involved in the iterator creation. However, it offers better memory usage with large collections. It is ideal for arrays and built-in collections when code clarity is a priority. However, avoid using it with large objects that implement custom iterators. For example, we can compare the performance of the traditional for loop and for of loop by iterating over a large array. The time taken for both loops is different, but the for of loop is negligibly slower. For of loop should be preferred if code readability is a bigger concern. Let's compare for of with other loops. The traditional for loop is best used for index-based iteration. It gives you full control over iteration, provides the best performance, but requires manual index handling. The forEach loop is best used for array method chaining. It offers cleaner syntax but does not support break and continue statements. It follows a functional approach. The for-in loop is used for object properties. It enumerates properties including the prototype chain. The keys are accessed as strings. Finally, the for-of loop is used for iterable objects. It provides direct access to the values, support break and continue statements, and is known for better readability. For example, to iterate over an array of items, we can use the traditional for loop, forEach loop, forIn loop, and forOf loop. Each of these loops has a different way of accessing elements of the array. When using for-of loops, always use it when you need to iterate over values directly. Prefer it over the for-in loop for arrays. Use destructuring when you are working with map entries. Avoid modifying the collection while you are iterating over it. Avoid using for-of with non-iterable objects. Lastly, do not use the for-of loop when you need the index. For example, when working with a map of scores, you can use destructuring while looping over it to get the names and scores. When you are using for-of loop with an array, avoid adding elements to the array inside the loop. If you need an index of the element, it is preferable to use the traditional for loop instead of for-of loop. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.